Welcome to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41.
The tastiest food show on the Most FM.
Do you need a
Yeah.
Hello. Welcome to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41 on the Most FM, the tastiest food show on the Most FM. We are recording our show live on a Facebook group page. Look for Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. Join in if you like to peek behind the scenes. Today it is us, Alina Williams and Nathan Griffiths. Alina, that's me, your selfie taker and gourmetarian. We'll be talking in the studio about potatoes, and we are going to talk with Nathan, who is a food reviewer and social media manager. We're going to talk, listen, and celebrate over potatoes today. So we also stream this video live on Facebook, and the playlist for the show is also published in two groups: Taranaki Foodies with Area 41 and loyal listeners of the Most FM. Please go in and check the playlist if you're interested. Hello, Nathan.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Not bad. It's beautiful weather in Taranaki today.
It is nice.
It is a good time to eat potatoes and listen to our first music piece, which is Potatoes, Small Potatoes by Mad X.
Well, I think it's the first time I've heard this song.
I believe that it will be a lot of songs that you heard first time.
Okay.
Yeah. So those who watch us on live on Facebook or Twitter. Do we do Twitter, Nathan?
Yeah, of course.
So Nathan is our technical person who just does sharing on all social media. So we have Twitter and YouTube channel as well. Please subscribe and just give us big thumbs and love. We love. So we are going to talk during the music because we don't see each other every day, and we always have interesting news to share.
That's right. And this is a great time to catch up on the food that we've tried over the week.
Yes, right. What food did you try over the week?
Well, my ingredient at the moment that I like is peanut butter and jelly.
Wow.
And I think it goes in a lot of things, and I'm looking forward to experimenting some more with it.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, let's return back to our show. Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. We just listened to a very small piece which is called Potatoes, Small Potatoes by Mad X. And it is us, Alina Williams and Nathan Griffiths, talking about potatoes. Guess what? There is no guests today, so we decided to take a little change in our format and talk about something that a lot of people absolutely like. So when I made my research for the show, it showed that potatoes songs appear in so many styles and varieties, the same as the real potatoes. There are bands with potatoes word in it. There are potatoes albums, the title of the songs that have the word mash or fries, or song about digging potatoes, or songs about peeling potatoes, smashed potatoes, anything potatoes basically. And they are truly favorite tubers from all over the world. They're true comfort food laced with childhood memories and sense of fulfillment. So Nathan, do you like potatoes? Tell me, please.
Of course, I think I began to like them a lot more when I watched them on YouTube being prepared in so many different ways with cheese. And I began to like potatoes again, and I eat them. I like them crispy.
Wow, that's really good. Later on, we will know some more facts about potatoes. the fact that they continue some interesting poison, which makes it probably more pleasing to eat. And now we're going to listen Mama's Fried Potatoes by the Reverend Peyton's Big Damn Band. Let's listen. I love this. This is such a mixture of ska, rock and roll, and probably a little bit of a country.
This is suitable because country music is very close with potatoes because all the preparations, fries and things.
That's true. Potatoes should be connected to farming and to the country music, and we've heard rock and roll, and later on we're going to listen to some blues and swing music, and even, believe it or not, it's going to be a gangster style rap.
Oh, okay. I don't believe it.
You don't believe it? Well, I'll take a liberty to persuade you about this. I love mashed potatoes. This is food that reminds me of childhood, and I can cook really cool mashed potatoes. I mean, at the moment, some mashed potatoes could be made of a substitute starch, but the best mashed potatoes are made from scratch, from the organic, potentially, potatoes grown in our beautiful Taranaki. And interestingly, I know one person who doesn't like mashed potatoes. You know, it's my son Aiden. He just absolutely dislikes mashed potatoes. He says that the texture is kind of lingering in his mouth too much, so he doesn't really like that. Do you like mashed potatoes?
I do. It's probably, besides crispy fries, I think mashed potatoes is a great preparation. I also like wedges or small potatoes that have been fried in oil and things.
Yeah, my husband's favorite potatoes dish is in the duck fat.
Yeah.
So, especially not necessarily fried, but probably roasted in a duck fat, because it gives this unique taste, should I say. And when he wants to have a fancy type of potatoes, he asked me to make duck fat. So yeah. By the way, our Kiri is out in our studio. He's just giving us a shall I say, a nice smile or a smirk, whatever. Hello, Kiri. Wonderful. So the song is about fried potatoes, and it's, for me, it's like a hooligan song. And it's called Mama's Fried Potatoes by the Reverend Band, and it's almost about to finish. Welcome back to the studio of Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. It is me, Olina Williams, and Nathan Griffins. We are talking about potatoes in our diet and our playlists. Food is traditionally connected to the other primal instincts, like ability to survive or ability to continue your bloodline. There are many expressions that are related to food that are actually used in sexual meaning. Think of the word saucy. Saucy topics of popping cherries, burritos and fajitas, being a crumb, or putting the cake into the oven. Right. The next song, All the Meat and No Potatoes, was a slur from the early 40s that was used to describe a big-figured, attractive woman with small breasts. The story says that Fats-Weller, who was the original creator of the song, liked a female vocalist he was working with, and except that she wasn't really into him, and she was meat and no potatoes, so he wrote a song about it. Let's listen to All the Meat and No Potatoes by charismatic Louis Armstrong. Have you heard this song? All the Meat and No Potatoes?
I really haven't.
You see, I opened the whole world for you. At least two songs that you haven't heard before. And isn't it interesting that sometimes there is a hidden meaning behind the words and major lyric? Like, it could be anything, but story says that's what it was. So this is one of those few situations when the original song is not as good as the cover. So Louis Armstrong, with his voice, covered so much better than the person, as Waller, who created it originally. And I think it's still quite popular.
Yeah.
Because it's in the many playlists. And I mean, potato is such an interesting topic. And it's one of the other things that sometimes males call female breasts.
Right.
I hope I didn't make Nathan too shy about that. Right. It is amazing how many dishes you can cook with potatoes. I'm known for, well, because I lived in a hostel in Soviet times during perestroika when we did not have a lot of resources. So I think that for 2 weeks I was just cooking potatoes in 14 different ways, fortnight on potatoes, never being repeated. So I'm pretty good. I should be an ambassador for Potatoes New Zealand, should I?
We've tried every way of cooking potatoes yet.
Probably not. One of my favorites is actually make a little, it's called zrazy. So it's a cover of mashed potatoes and inside is the meat. And meat is quite fragrant with some garlic and pepper and quite a nice way. And it's also a good way to utilize mashed potatoes from the day before.
Okay.
Do you know,
I can see.
Do you know any recipes how you can utilize?
I've heard of that, of taking the potatoes, the leftovers, and using them for something, even if it's something less substantial, maybe not a meal, but like sometimes that stuff can be good for feeding animals or for creating like a nice bird feed or something.
Or just adding thickness to stir fry.
Like a gravy and stuff, for example.
I love Nathan's way of cooking. He's quite experimental. He loves ethnic cuisines and he experiments a lot with the ethnic ingredients. And he's also leading the food reviewers group. And sometimes he picks up on something that others don't pick up. And another thing that he is very, very honest. So most of the time he'll tell people what he thinks. And I believe that a lot of people need to learn the truth about their food. Don't you think so? Join our group. It's called Taranaki Reviewers, and Nathan is the admin, and he can invite you in and take on a field trip. So tell us, where is our next field trip going to be?
Well, you know, the next one is from our guest Deli Star, who was on the show a little while ago.
Yes, Jamie came to our show several weeks ago, and we already had some relations with him because I used to order his catering before I went into business, and he's such a wonderful and a respectful member of the New Zealand, New Plymouth, Taranaki food scene. And so he, at the moment, he has catering, which is a deli star, and also he has a little cafe by the swimming pools, right?
Yeah, and the food tastes great.
Yeah, you already been there. You've already been there. I didn't. So I believe that it's hard to make like a statement food in a little cafe by the swimming pool because people want a quick grab. But what I've heard that a lot of restaurants are actually feeling the trend that people want something like from the quick food menu, but made in a fancier way. Like burgers are extremely popular, but restaurant burgers are very different from McDonald's burgers, for example. One of our favorite place to eat is a wonderful burger, which is Area 41, and they make their own buns. Yes, brioche buns, and they are amazing, very good. What is the signature style? Do you know?
The signature style for burgers is that, well, the best burgers are the most creative burgers comes from Berkville because that was a university. Some university students put that together, and that's a solid burger.
Burger fuel. Okay. Yeah, well, I need to know that. I don't eat burgers a lot, but my family absolutely loves it. At Area 41, they make a stamp on it, so it's actually a stamp Area 41 on the burger, and it looks very cool, very Instagrammable, shall I say that? And we are about for the next music piece. Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. It is us, Alina Williams and Nathan Griffiths. We are talking about potatoes in our diets and also about potatoes in our music playlists. So the next song shows that any activity could be either felony, flattery, or flirting. It depends how you look at it. Digging potatoes from the album Wizards of Harmonica by Browning, McGee, and Sonny Terry. And it is here, and please listen with us. this is typical country.
Mhm.
So when we had the previous one, it was like a country / other styles, and a lot of music now is on the verge of many styles, but this is a very typical country. I think it's an old song, but it was remastered, and harmonica movements are really amazing. It's very, very professional. Do you like harmonica?
I owned one once,
Oh,
and I
wow.
played it, and it's something I could have pursued.
Oh, right. So we have another third team member at our mutual business with Nathan, and her name is Liane, and she is a muso. Wow. And she plays guitar and harmonica, and I heard her performing. She's really good.
Yeah, I also heard her with you, and I enjoyed her music very much.
Yes, it is. It's quite a hard instrument to master because it's not considered as hard as a harp or a violin or something like that. But it has a very unique sound, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And also it's quite easy to carry with you. Instead of carrying harp or violin, you can just put something in your pocket.
And they're beautiful too.
Yeah. Someone told me that with harmonicas you can't really use them for a long time. You need to buy a new one, or there is a replaceable part. It's probably something that Kerry can tell us what happened, because it's wind instrument, harmonica, and he in his saxophones and his clarinet, he has a replaceable reeds which is made of bamboo.
All right, yeah.
I don't know. We need an expert on harmonica one day now.
It sounds right to me.
Yeah. Okay. So, what musical instruments you ever played?
I've enjoyed the guitar, the drums. I've also enjoyed wooden instruments, and the newest one, the hang drum, looks amazing to me.
Wow.
I've also learned some ethnic drums as well.
They're quite soothing, isn't it? Because they say that drums are one of 3 instruments that actually can release people from pain and increase their vibration, but they start to vibrate in a healthy rhythm. So one of them is drums, and then also, any percussion, but particular certain drums are better than also harp, which is quite an amazing thing. But I mean, I love string instruments. Although I was trained as a piano player, and 7 years of a hard work, and I absolutely hated it. I didn't touch piano for many, many years after that. So, childhood trauma, I suppose.
I took lessons for an extended time, and I think it probably added to my life. I think if I would feel more confident with the guitar now.
Awesome. I believe that, I've read somewhere that people who have stronger and healthier lungs live longer, and I'm happy about it because my husband plays clarinet, and I believe that he'll live a happy and long and healthy life. And we're about to stop listening to this song, which was Digging My Potatoes from the album Wizard of Harmonica. Brownie McGee and Sonny Terry. So welcome back to the studio of Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. We're talking about potatoes in our diets and in our playlists. It is us, Lena Williams and Nathan Griffiths. So potatoes were domesticated approximately 7,000 to 10,000 years ago in South America. Potatoes were introduced to Europe from the Americas in the second half of the 16th century by the Spanish. Of course, a lot of people know that because I'm sure you learned your history lessons. Today, they are a staple food in many parts of the world and an integral part of much of the world's food supply. As of 2014, potatoes were the world's 4th largest food crop after maize, wheat, rice. And following the millennia of selective breeding, there are now over 5,000 of different types of potatoes. And quite rightfully, after that, we are going to listen to No Potatoes, Gangsta Style by Tommy Brillante.
Oh, this is the one, is it?
Yes, that's the one.
Now, I think rap has changed a lot since it was created to today. I think many, many styles, and I can't say that I don't like rap.
I love rap. I think it's the music of the streets, the same as the rock and roll used to be in 60s. And I believe that the message very often, I mean, there are rude, explicit language sometimes, which is not now because we have special version for the radio. But I mean, it's how people speak. There is a reason why this type of language exists. A lot of people can't vent it out. It's not acceptable to come and kind of...
Also, it's people that singing their emotions out through a song.
Yeah, and sometimes in a private life they say rude things because they can't hit someone, right?
Right. I see.
But this is the venting out because capsuling emotions inside you, not necessarily a good thing. Messages are coming. So if you're listening to our radio show or you're watching the replay on the Facebook and our group page, Taranaki Foodies with Area 41, and you have any questions or you know a restaurant or a foodie who would you like to be on air, please let us know.
Shanti si fa di lato, carichi un pacco, non sono potatoes, come la tela ti verso nel dorato, siamo sul pezzo, già da un pezzo, niente a farlo, con la palma on stage, con la furina, ready to rumble, e vieni giù, dentro marcia al sud, che non è bestia, che non è euro, passano da me, guarda che bombo, GSW2, scassa la traccia in play,
I think, you know,
e sale sul bus,
a rapper who is rapping and he's making money doing that, he's overcoming certain things. He's becoming more intelligent and he's expressing himself through art.
And all the people told me that it's stupid, there is no sense in it, but you should listen to some of the rap music and maybe you'll find some sense.
I think so, yeah.
There is always a reason why people express themselves in art of some sort, even music or rap or whatever, and it's pretty amazing. Yeah, so thank you very much for messages, those who send us. Yeah, and sorry for being stupid, but it's also my way to express whatever, creativity. So, right. We are about to stop listening of this music track, and it was Tommy Brillante, and it was brilliant, gangster style, no potatoes. Welcome back to the studio of Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. It is Alina Williams and Nathan Griffith. We are talking about potatoes in our diets and in our playlists. Who would know that there are so many songs about potatoes? Like the tomato, the potato belongs to the family of nightshade, and the vegetative and fruiting parts of potatoes contain the toxin solanine, which is dangerous for human consumption. So don't eat the upper part of a potato, only something that within the ground. Normal potato tubers that have been grown and stored properly produce glycoalkaloids in their mounds small enough to be negligible to human health. But if green sections of the plant, namely sprouts and skins, are exposed to light, the tubers can accumulate a high enough concentration of glycoalkaloids to affect human health. In small quantities, it will just make you happy. The same as any alkaloids, I suppose. Listen to almost meditative peeling potatoes by the last river bottomed thick pucker. Who would know that peeling potatoes? I can peel potatoes really fast. First time I did it, I don't know, I remember that in our culture. When you live with them.
Your grandparents taught you and your mum taught your mum and your mum taught your grandparents.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing how few kids now know how to do it. Because most of the potatoes are actually sold frozen, already cut, pre-cut, and different.
It's so convenient.
Yeah, it's not hard, and I mean, if it is a young potato, you don't really need to cut it. But if it's an old potato, it could be quite dangerous. Especially if there are sprouts, you really need to peel this off.
Well, there's certainly no danger from getting poisoning from the supermarket products.
Very true. That's very true. That's one of the reasons probably why people stop doing it by themselves. Everything is so convenient and it's pre-done by you. So, what is your favorite cut of potato?
You mean like wedges or?
Yeah.
Well, I was saying before, I really do like those small ones when they're halved and crispy. But yeah, wedges and chips I think are great. They just fulfill all my needs basically.
Wedges is my favorite one. I think that especially if it's young potato, I leave the skin on, and we can actually boil it and then fry it in a little bit of a mixture of herbs. Italian herbs are really good with a bit of olive oil. My favorite oil to use with potatoes is actually sunflower oil. It gives this sunny, summery smell to it. I absolutely love it. And especially the place where I used to live, Ukraine, is the country of sunflowers. We have sunflowers fields all over. And if you look at the Ukrainian flag, you'll see the blue strip at the top and the yellow strip at the bottom. So it symbolizes the blue sky with no clouds, and it's clean and clear. It means peace, and sunflowers, which means it is nourishing. And I mean, sunflowers are so good. So there are so many micro elements in sunflowers and in sunflower oils. Yeah, so this is one of my favorite ways to have potatoes. Did you know that they are partly poisonous? Did you? Oh,
So-
awesome.
I understand that when the potato is pulled from the ground, after a certain amount of time, it begins to release something that can be poisonous.
Just congregated. Yeah, they can. So, welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. We are talking about potatoes in our playlists and our diets, and it's us, Alina Williams and Nathan Griffith, and it's kind of fun because there's lots of music about potatoes, lots of groups with the name potato in it, and many albums. I can't go any further without actually honoring Maori potatoes. The variety of Maori potatoes are so many. Now the most recognizable Maori potato, and the one you're most likely to be served in a restaurant, is the attractive purple tutaekuri. Correct me if I pronounced it wrong. I'm still learning. I don't know all the words, but I try my best to learn as much Maori words as I can. And the other Taiwa varieties have a more solid texture and a buttery taste, more buttery taste than the other potatoes. And cheers to our food taonga from New Zealand. We absolutely love New Zealand food. Let's listen to Gravy for My Mashed Potatoes by D.D. Sharp, my favorite era of the music.
So I'm thinking a lot now because some of the most expensive potatoes in the world are grown in a certain location. And from thinking about the story, I think it was the high salt content that was in the soil that would actually go to the potatoes and give it a taste like that.
Yes, and Kira reminds us that potatoes, as any carbohydrates, can be turned into alcohol. I wonder, why did he say that? Maybe his Irish roots. It is known fact that a lot of vodka, and especially during the times of famines, we used done from potatoes, and especially Irish potato vodka was quite famous throughout the history. And during the famines, food like potatoes help people to survive because it's energy. And if you think about food as an energy, you just realize that as long as it doesn't poison you and it's edible, it's a source of an energy. And potatoes are quite high in the energy, so it's a very nutritious food. They also have lots of vitamins and minerals. I didn't make my research about vitamins and minerals. Maybe we'll write about it in our group. But if we didn't need it, we probably wouldn't like it that much, because it's a survival thing. You have to eat to survive, and potato obviously is suitable for a lot of people. I don't know a lot of people who have allergy for potatoes. I know several people, only a few, who dislike potatoes in certain way of when they're cooked. Some people don't like it deep fried because it's the fats that used. Some people, like my son, doesn't like it mashed because it's the texture of it. But most of the people are not allergic to potatoes. Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. It is us, local foodies and selfie takers, Olina Williams and Nathan Griffith. And we are talking about potatoes in our diets and in our playlists. The next song that we planned for you, it is the song by a famous band called The Kinks, and you probably heard it before. But did you know that The Kinks' original name was The Ravens? But they dropped it off because it wasn't that popular. I suppose people on their way to success are allowed to change names and stuff. And they also were called the Boll Weevils, which is quite a strange name. But then they renamed it. The two brothers that started it renamed it the Kinks simply because they were listening to some show and someone mentioned that it's kinky, and they thought that it's a really good word for the band, and it was a successful name to become popular. So they're known for their social messages in their songs. And listen to these words in this song. If you don't come home with a job, you'll get no dinner today. These words are still valid after many, many years from the last century, and we were it before. So let's listen to the hot topic of hot potatoes by The Kinks.
Yeah, great. I'm excited about how many songs there are with potato.
Well, I had to reduce it because I actually found many. It was a hard task. Originally, I was really kind of flexible about it, and I created a playlist of about 20 songs. But then I very, very harshly reduced it into 10 because, in fact, our time is already almost, ran down. We're just about to reduce this Kinks song to a small amount, and I really want to finish it with the song called the Small Potatoes, because it's cheerful, it's funky, and it's sang by children.
Oh, wow.
Our future generation, something that we really need to kind of think about and make life for them in such a way that they can look after us, they can look after the planet. And I also believe that the new generation will fix all our mistakes. So huge respect to children. So let's stop this and let's listen to this last song, The Small Potatoes Bolt. Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. I had to stop the last song, although I absolutely love it. It's Hot Potatoes by The Kinks. But our time runs down so fast, and I have the last song for us to listen. It is The Small Potatoes Waltz by Small Potatoes. The Small Potatoes Waltz, and it's typical 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I think this one would be fun to sing.
Yeah. Also, just a reminder that all our playlists are shared in two groups. One group is Taranaki Foodies with Area 41, and the other one is loyal listeners of the Most FM, our favorite community radio stations in Taranaki. And please, if you're interested, go and check our playlist, because next week it will be something different. Next week we have other guests planned to our show, and I hope they wouldn't cancel.
Yeah,
Quite cool, eh?
it's entertaining, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So how many styles we heard today? We heard rap, we heard a mixture of ska and something else. We heard country,
Yeah,
we heard jazz, we heard blues.
that's right.
Yeah, and this childish song like people perform on a 1, 2, 3, 1. Awesome. Welcome back to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. We are coming to the end of our show. Few words from our sponsor, Area 41 on Brougham Street. You know what? Next week they're going to have a new menu. So they almost printed it. They created like the pilot of it, and some of the dishes are going to stay, and some of the dishes, some new dishes are going to be added as well. But the most exciting thing that in a couple of weeks they're going to add a new wine list, because they change their wine list every 6 months. And it's going really well. They have a really good sommelier there. So it is an Italian restaurant, so all the wines previously were Italian, but next batch comes of French wines. Isn't it cool?
Wow, really?
Looking
That's so
forward.
exciting.
Yeah, and there are some interesting new sweet dishes, desserts there, because Area 41 is quite famous for its desserts.
They did that
isn't it?
incredible one last time, so I'll be excited to see what's going to appear.
Yes, maybe we should bring our foodies group there again. Thank you for listening to Taranaki Foodies with Area 41. Now we're going to take some selfies and post them on Instagram and Facebook. Tune in to 100.4 FM every Saturday at 4 p.m. Remember, there is a live recording of this interview online on Taranaki Foodies with Area 41 group page on Facebook, also on Twitter, and also on YouTube. Please find our pages there. Meet you next Saturday at 4 p.m. on Airwaves. Bye-bye, my gourmetarians. All done. Awesome. It was pretty easy, wasn't it?
It's almost.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's so much fun to be on the radio.